All right, at this point in time, Fortnite is simply the game that is the easiest to compete in, the most opened, and just straightforward. It is the game. If you want to start competing, you have no experience, you don't have anything. Realistically, it is the game that you're going to have the easiest access to the competitive scene and actually earning money. And Fortnite just did it again because they've just allowed their simple edit setting, which released just a few months back, to be used in competitive play. Now, simple edit, for the few people that don't know, I'm assuming people that click on this video knows, but for the people that don't know, it essentially makes editing way easier. Usually editing takes around 3 inputs, which is selecting the tiles, clicking your edit button, selecting the tiles, and then clicking your edit button again. You can kind of reduce it to 2 if you have edit on release, because when you release the select, it automatically edits. But now simple edit is simply just a one edit based on your crosshair placement. So if you're looking bottom right, it's going to do a bottom right for a tile edit. If you're looking top right, it's going to do a top right 3-tile pizza or whatever peanut butter edit. Regardless, that's pretty much how Fortnite has been, and we know this, right? Fortnite did this way back on World Cup with their big move of, moving competitive from 16-year-old, which is pretty much the standard, all the way down to 13, and kind of opening it up to a whole new market and letting actual, 13-year-olds that kind of made it all the way to World Cup. I mean, we had, I think, King, which was like a 14-year-old at the time or something, super young, making it to World Cup and making crazy amounts of money. I have always actually enjoyed Fortnite for this because they kind of opened up Fortnite or just competitive play to everyone. They did this with Zero Build. Now, Zero Build has its kind of own things where, there was a lot of cheaters and just kind of giving money to cheaters. But still, Zero Build was another part of this. And they did this throughout their entire life. Console Cups is all the same. Whether it's just like the Console Champion Cups that I think they still do host nowadays, or the old console FNCS, which, to be honest, was pretty much a mess because it was like the same amount of money, but on console, which this I don't fully agree with. But I do enjoy the fact that you have an official tournament from Epic Games in this case with an official prize pool, because that simply gets better competitive access and just broadens it to everyone. There's still other cups as well, which not necessarily money wise, but you still have OG reload cups, and then they have their structures, which divisional cups, which that is not niche to Fortnite, to be honest. That is like, I think Overwatch, I don't know if they did it first, but I remember that Overwatch was pretty big with this, with like different tiers, and tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and I like that. I think it makes it that you can have multiple leagues, kind of just like the same way sports have their regular leagues, right? You have, for example, I don't know, the NBA and the G League, or the NHL and the AHL, or whatever, the NFL and the CFL, all these things where you can compete, but at different levels. You have a tier 1, which has most of the money, but sometimes it's cool to have other leagues that have some money, not necessarily a lot, but just a little bit for those people, and also incentives to go from these smaller leagues and then be able to upgrade to higher leagues. But it's all opened in this case because you can just queue in, and if you're good enough, you'll make it. Anyways, that's a kind of a little bit of an update video. I wanted to touch on it because I think it's really interesting, and I think Fortnite is still on the right path because, as I said, realistically, simple edit, it does have some limitations and most likely won't impact the real high caliber of players that we have. And the top 100 players most likely won't be on simple edit. Maybe one of them is going to sneak in. I doubt it's going to be mainstream, but it has its uses, and I think it just makes competitive accessible to more people, especially a game like Fortnite that is becoming so much harder. Anyways, I hope y'all can tell me your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, likes are appreciated. Peace.